Welcome to the Driving the World podcast series. I'm your host, Culley Holland. Today we are coming to you from the AGMA Motion and Power Expo, and we have Beau Hallavant with WD Bearing.
Hey, how's it going, Beau? Thanks so much for being on today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a good show. It's been a good time. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. We're having ourselves a really nice podcast, so why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself, kind of tell the people what WD Bearing does, where you fit in the industry, just, the good 10,000 foot view.
Cool. I'll give you WD first because I'm not that important.
I don't believe that for a second.
So WD, brand new, I would say, in the world of bearings.
Okay.
Which is to say we are about 25 years old, but as you know, we have some competitors that started in the 1800s, right? We started late 1900s, which sounds weird to say as someone who's also born in the late 1900s.
Right.
Right, so our company started in 1999. We were originally founded upon doing like a distributorship, I would say, of larger names. Timken, SKF, FinSK, we were a distributor initially.
Very fair.
These larger names, specifically for China domestic market. That's where we started. Dabbling with those a little bit. There's a couple holes in general manufacturing base because nobody ever wants to make everything. That's
right.
Appropriately so, right? There's enough business out there for all of us. So we decided to switch over to the manufacturing space.
Very nice.
Instead of the distributor space.
Okay.
So we've been making almost exclusively roller bearing products as our priority. And then we have everything else we might call me too products. Like, oh, I make this and this too kind of thing.
Right.
But mostly roller bearings. That's where we're at, which is why, of course, we're at this show outlining some of the products we have here, right? That was pretty substantial for a while in the China domestic market, and then we became wildly popular quickly in the European market.
Very nice.
Specifically Germany and Italy. And it became this weird scenario where it was the first time where we had a headquarters in China, but it wasn't our largest market. Europe was our largest market.
Wow.
And still continues to be our largest market. So we decided, okay, let's do a test. So we opened up a US test market in 2010. I don't want to over glorify it. At this time, it was just a bounce point, like a little 2-car garage almost, just for supporting our global OEMs and some surplus stock for test market kind of thing. That became ridiculously popular in a hurry. So we officially formulated this strong US push in 2018, and our slowest growth year since has been in the 20s.
Wow.
Next year, we're already booked to bill at 41%. We're talking 2025 right now, by all stretch. So it's been a good run. 25-year history, it's been quite aggressive, probably more aggressive than we should generally handle at times. So we're always in a big hiring spree for growth, which is great. Right now, we're trying to pick up like 2-4 guys for the US and a couple guys for Europe. It's good. My place in this was a bit different. My place in starting this. 2018, I was one of the 4 that was hired to help really start this US expansion beyond the market test, we would call it, right? At the time, since it was still just an early expansion of direct employees, I was hired on as both sales and engineering.
Good place to be.
Right, with a mechanical background, it kind of fit in real good. I started my chops in the world of fixing go-karts and fixing vacuum cleaners so that anything we broke when we were little kids, Dad wouldn't come home and punish us for all the things that we broke.
The beginning of most great engineers.
Right? So in the world of fixing things, right? So it just kind of naturally carried into the world of college, went into the world of engineering. And then here I am, like every other little boy and girl out there, growing up to be the bearing engineer that you wanted to be since childhood.
That's right. Every kid's dream.
So that's probably the 30,000 foot of WD and maybe a 50,000 foot of me.
Well, very good. I think it gives us a great jumping off point and a little bit of understanding for our listeners. So you've aggressively expanded, which is always great to hear. What are some industries where WD would be prevalent or be used for some of our customers that might want to know?
Sure. Outside of the obvious, probably our second and third largest market's going to be your pump and compressor.
Right.
Big market for us. And material handling.
Very cool.
These two markets are quite attractive in the roller bearing industry, right? Anything that's heavy, robust, aggressive. We're not talking about the deep groove ball bearing as much as we're talking about roller bearing products.
Right.
If it's aggressive, robust, high quality requirements, that's where we operate. We're not an economic solution in most cases. We're
I completely understand that.
generally the most expensive out of China. Yeah, it's good. It's our place.
And that's a good place to be. And it's funny you say those two because SEW-EURODRIVE also has a home in, the food and bev conveying,
Sure,
as
got
well
some
as
popular.
helping to drive pumps. So it sounds like there's going to be a lot of components in the complete solution. And it sounds like some of our customers might have to reach out to multiple areas. So
Likely.
there are more than just bearings, and there's more than just gear motors and VFDs and controls in one area.
Sure.
So that's why there are multiple companies like ours that, are out there trying to supply a quality product to our customers to make sure everything's running smoothly. So we talked about kind of where WD started, a couple of industries. If some of our customers were curious about WD, how do they get information? Where they,
Sure. We're bad at marketing. Let's just be real.
hey, it seems like you're doing better today.
We are doing better today. I got a wonderful conversation going right here. Generally though, historically, it's not been our strong suit yet, but we're getting a little better. So you might find us on accident, or you might be hit by targeted SEO. Who knows?
Right?
Right? It's absolutely possible.
Well, that's crazy how that happens.
Yeah, so that algorithm, right? It gets
Right.
everybody. But realistically, we're out of Indianapolis. Classic bearing searches for bearing manufacturers, whatnot. We're going to pop up when you come on SEO type stuff like this. But realistically, if you're in the market of the pumps and compressors type industry or material handling, you're going to find us most through engineering contacts, not really through sales contacts.
Okay.
We're in a weird space right now where companies are trying to decide whether or not are they going to head e-commerce, are they going to go the personalization route. How do we even target these new engineers, these new salespeople that are coming in, or production, procurement teams? How do we get them? We've chosen the wildly personalized engineering route.
Okay.
So you'll find WD on the other end of a phone call. It's probably going to be an engineer or a sales guy with a strong technical background, or even a sales guy with a mechanical background. Pretty much everybody on our staff is going to be high tech. That way, your conversation, regardless of who you are, commercial or technical, you've got the right guy already.
I really appreciate that, and I think that's going to be a huge benefit to anyone that calls in,
Sure.
having
It's easy,
an engineer right there so they can talk to you and they're going to know exactly what they're talking about and the product
Bingo.
they're talking about.
You've got to be easy to work with today, and SEW does a darn good job of that.
And something we strive for and definitely are trying to constantly improve because, if you don't move forward, you get left behind.
No doubt.
So,
Popular for a reason, aren't you?
yeah, I would like to think so. I appreciate you bringing that up. We're definitely trying to stay so and provide the best benefit to our customers, as it sounds like you are with engineering and
Likewise.
sales support in one phone call.
You can't just be a PO anymore.
Never. And that's something that we never wanted to be, and it sounds like you don't want to be either. So I think that's going to be a great asset to people trying to get into the industry.
Agreed.
Is there anything else you want to touch on for WD Bearing?
Let's see. For probably being new in the market and in the world of bearings, there's so much, I would say, convoluted in the world of catalogs. Not specific to WD, but specific to the industry as a whole. It's an important time to slow down and look beyond the catalog.
Okay.
This is something that's becoming a little bit more apparent in our industry, not WD specific at all. Catalog options used to be pretty much the only options, and you build backwards towards the bearing. So almost an afterthought in a lot of applications because it was allowed to be. You chose it from a list of options. We're at a point now where a lot of your customers, pump and compressor world, or even the conveyor world, custom applications are not so far away anymore.
No, not at all.
They're not scary. Of course, SEW knows this. You guys custom stock. You guys are all over the place on it.
Custom is our standard. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Same. It's wild how much there's still a bit of a stigma, or maybe even a prejudice, that custom means long lead time. Custom means expensive, hard to acquire, or high risk because no one else can make it. But realistically, there's a lot of people out there that are willing to sit down, listen, kind of co-develop products now. And it's a good time to actually sit with your engineers and have some fun on an application as much as you can.
Right.
In a commoditized market, right? I would recommend anyone to go a hair beyond the catalog now. Get creative, and you'll find it's not nearly as difficult as it used to be, and you'll find a ridiculous stack up of competitive edge. It's just quietly better than your competitors.
You know what, I think that is a great point. Super glad you brought it up. It's something that personally, until this conversation and talking with you, I would not have thought about, custom options and bearings. But I mean, with your engineers on the other side of the phone, it's going to be right there at your fingertips. So
yeah, without a doubt.
I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, likewise. Good conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and look forward to talking with you in the future.
Agreed.